We play and call it work.
Welcome back to Live Sit and Talk with Luka here for MiniWarGaming. Again, if the audio drops out, please leave comments so we can figure that out. It's a little tough. Now, I've just been informed by Josh that this will probably be the last Live Sit and Talk for a bit, so he's going to come back and let me know who it's going to be for, or he might leave a message in the comments saying, leave comments for the next person for their Sit and Talk show. It is Chris? All right. Okay, so leave comments in this video when it goes up on YouTube for Chris, and he'll be answering all those questions next week. Anyways, guys, let's begin the show where I pretty much just sit here and answer your questions that you have for me. Now, I know someone was asking me about Tesla versus Gauss. I don't actually own any Tesla Carbine Immortals. I've always had the Gauss ones, and I like to use my own models. So if you ever see me using Immortals with Tesla, there's someone else. There's Steve's. I don't feel like using Steve's. I want to use my own. But I am buying 2 new box sets of the I think it's called Forgebane. I'm splitting with Josh with one. I'm splitting with a friend for another. And, well, I'll be getting pretty much all I need for the rest of my Necrons for a long while with those 2 boxes. Especially the Flying Cryptex. Even though I think I like the Chronometron more. Anyways, that's enough of that. Thoughts on death marks. It says it's... Yeah. So, thoughts on death marks. I don't actually own any death marks, so I haven't played them too much. Sniper guys are always cool. The fact that they can deep strike is pretty cool. I haven't used them all that much. I played against them, and they weren't very significant. Where did Taco Kitties come from anyways, eh? Taco Kitties. It was like almost a desperation to get everyone a unique type of dye. And I just always had cat shirts, and then I came into work one day with tacos with cat heads on them in space. And then Matthew said that that was ludicrous, that would never actually exist. That'd be impossible. And I'm like, well, of course, Matthew, that would not be possible. And then that's kind of, Chris came out and he did a little artist rendition of the dye I have now, and that's where it came from. Ooh. What does Josh's beard smell like? I haven't, I don't think I've ever smelt it. I know he washes it often, so I'm sure it smells fine. I can't imagine it smells bad. I don't know. What is the tattoo on my arm? It's from Magic the Gathering. It's the Phyrexian symbol. So if you play Magic, you're probably familiar with it. It's from the oh wow, it's New Phyrexia set from before Innistrad, and it's also the symbol for you could pay mana or you could pay 2 life kind of thing, right? It was a cool set regardless. I liked it a lot. I actually don't know much about so Dave Rockefeller, thoughts on the upcoming 40k skirmish kill team rules. I don't really know much about that. I haven't actually heard anything about it. Again, I don't know. I would like to imagine it'll be like the old 7th edition, you know, Heralds of Ruin, kill team stuff. It was always fun to play. I never played too much of that either. If I was playing a skirmish game, I usually tended to stick to one of GW's skirmish or specialist games. How Many Armies Do I Own by David Gargan. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I own Necrons, Death Guard. I just recently got in Death Guard over Christmas. I was painting them up pretty quickly. Actually, I would like to say I was getting them done pretty quickly. And then Games Workshop threw out that the next 3 codexes are going to be Tau, Necrons, and Drukhari, if I recall. And I'm like, I had so many unpainted Necrons, and they're all on their 25mm bases. So I kind of just put the Death Guard to the side and I started working on the Necrons. I rebased the entire thing, repainted them all, Sautech colors. And yeah, I've been working on them. Right now I'm working on I had an old Annihilation Barge from like years ago. And it was put together. It wasn't primed or anything. I'm like, I planned on using it, and I planned on using it, and then the 7th edition codex dropped, and they were kind of poo. So I just kind of shelved it even longer. And now, last night, I essentially just took a knife to it and pried off the top part, and I'm going to do what Steve does and just make it a Catacomb Command Barge. And if I ever really, really want an Annihilation Barge, I can just put the gun in its spot, and it works out pretty good. Any hints about the Adepticon event? Jacob Kuistra. Any hints about that? I would say, if you're talking about Osinia Prime, I don't know. It's best. It's best if you don't know. It's just more fun going in blind. At least in my experience, it is. I know that we have a plan for the Imperium plays, or there's too many of you guys, but that's about it. Why pick Gauss over Tesla, Patchy? I just don't own the Tesla models. I would almost 90% of the time use Tesla over Gauss, unless I plan on doing something with monoliths or the Night Scythe, or if I'm just fighting something that Tesla will have no effect on. Heinrich Gamma, are you really always hungry? Yes, I am always hungry. I think everyone here at the office can attest to that. I'm always complaining about being hungry. Rob is nodding in the corner. I'll walk in a room. I'll just say, could go for some food right now, I guess. Always asking people if they want to get food. I'm a big boy. I like food. Alexandra Sideris. Thoughts on Tau Codex dropping without significant changes from the index in terms of special flavorful rules? I am, a lot of people are saying they're disappointed with the Tau Codex. They find it boring. There's nothing crazy new, nothing. There's a whole, the one thing that's disappointing. I read over it a little bit. I never play Tau. I've never played Tau. I very rarely play against them, so I only glanced over it and discussed it with Steve and whoever else was around the table at the time. And I got a lot of boring answers from them, or just essentially the codex was boring. It wasn't very exciting. There's that one thing where if they don't move at all, they get to reroll ones. I'm like, that doesn't seem very Tau-ish, or they just kind of stands. Obviously they stand still in the gun line, but I'm thinking of stealth suits and battle suits where the 7th edition, they were so cool to play in 7th edition. It looked like where they had their assault moves and they could move and then shoot, and then the assault phase assault down a building and hide, and it felt very Gundam. So kind of disappointing. And next one by Jeff Tremble. I'm having a hard time keeping up with these. I might just start randomly picking them out. What's my favorite Necron HQ? That's an Overlord with a War Scythe, with or without a Resurrection Orb. I don't really care because the Resurrection Orb is only a one-time use. I tend to not like one-time use things. I've tried it when the Index first came out, and every time it was like, all right, after they reanimate, pop a Res Orb and make them immediately reanimate again. Well, I mean, that's great until you fail to reanimate anything at all. For, I think it was, is it 25 points or 35 points in the Index? I can't remember. But no, I'm not a huge fan of it. What kind of Dreadnought will be... Oh, decent question. So this is pertaining to the Deathwatch campaign. What kind of Dreadnought will Theo be in the next Deathwatch campaign? Thinking of buying... And am I thinking of buying Forgebane for the Necrons? Yes, I'm buying 2 boxes. I'm splitting 2 boxes of Forgebane for Necrons. I really want the Immortals, because I do want the Tesla Immortals for myself. I already have the Gauss ones. The Razor, always a good addition to an army. I have 6 already. I doubt I'll use 12 in a list, but maybe one day I will. I don't know. I don't like Razor. The new Rays especially are more expensive, I'm assuming. But they're a heck of a lot better too. The -2, 2 damage each. That's insane. That is 100% what they needed. They were pretty durable before, but they didn't really dish out a lot of damage. Now they get that durability and they throw out the damage. What kind of Dreadnought will Theo be in? Well, I'd like to imagine he'd be in a Venerable Dreadnought. Just because I can't picture Theo not being fast. But I do picture him being very combat heavy. So double close combat weapon, Venerable Dreadnought. Easy. The real Zayla. Luka, do you know you're the most adorable MiniWarGaming member? Why, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm just a big egomaniac, so all you do is feed my ego. Now, for a real question, what is your favorite 40k army? That is Necrons. I've been playing them since I was 11. I fell in love with them when my friend showed me that they stand back up, because back then they had the "we will be back" rule, so they totally weren't a Terminator ripoff at all. They totally were super unique at the time, especially shortly after the Terminator movies coming out. I was playing a lot of Imperial Guard at the time versus Ultramarines, because that's just the 2 armies he had with him and his dad. And then he had a small little Necron army. He showed me them, and I went to go take them off the table or remove them. And he's like, no, you just leave them on the table. You lay them face down, and then you do a leadership check, and then they stand back up if you... I'm pretty sure that's how it went. Anyways, they stood back up, and that was it. I was sold. I was done. Yeah. Phyrexia is the best Sean Carter. I agree. J.R. Malam. Is it true there will be no more fantasy on the channel after the End Times campaign? Are you sad to see it go? So fantasy is always a fun game to play, right? But Age of Sigmar is becoming more and more popular as Games Workshop kind of just defines the game more and more. And we have a hard enough time fitting Age of Sigmar in already, so we need, as we cover 40K en masse, we want to try and cover Age of Sigmar en masse. Fantasy is a show that we'll be coming back to now and again. You just won't have your weekly fantasy kick, which is unfortunate. It is, if I had to say it, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Fantasy is my favorite game Games Workshop has ever made. And I say that only, and I'm not even an experienced fantasy player. Steve got me into the game as I volunteered MiniWarGaming years ago. I played Age of Sigmar when it first came out. I've always wanted to play fantasy, but much like all the other players out there, I couldn't afford to get into it because I was already into 40K. And fantasy was a much more expensive game because the model count was that much higher. If you want like 40 Witch Elves for Dark Elves, well, Witch Elves were $70 for 10. So right there, that's ludicrous. And then you want a Blood Cauldron to go along with them, and you want the rest of the army too, right? Or if you're playing Skaven, goodness gracious, Skaven, you're gonna buy and paint 150 slaves. I think there was Blood Isle was the box with the elves and the Skaven. Blood Island, I can't remember. That was probably the best. I can't remember the term. I'm just drawing a blank. You get the best monetary value out of that box. Anyways, it was so expensive, I didn't get into it. Age of Sigmar released. I bought a small vampire count army off of someone who was getting out of the game. And that army alone was enough to play Age of Sigmar with, and that was awesome. Except Age of Sigmar kind of ran its course. It ran dry pretty quickly as I played more and more, so I kind of went back to 40K. I came in to play Age of Sigmar with Steve once, and he asked me if I ever knew how to play fantasy. And I never did. I never played 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, or 1st edition fantasy. I only played 8th when Steve taught me, and I came in one day, he taught me how to play it all day, then the next time I came in, which I was coming by pretty much twice a month, I just played tons of fantasy, and then you guys know what happened from there. It was just nothing but fantasy. There'll be more fantasy in the future, it just won't be the weekly show. Jensen Quinn, Yawgmoth for the win. Yawgmoth was essentially the leader of all Phyrexia back in Dominaria and Magic, if you're familiar with all of that. This is new Phyrexia. But Yawgmoth was a super cool character. Tomb of Yawgmoth is one of my favorite cards in Magic the Gathering. It's just a land, but it's really cool. Daniel Horton, what do you prefer playing Age of Sigmar, 8th edition? Oh, do I prefer Age of Sigmar or Fantasy? I'll go with Fantasy. It's my favorite game. Age of Sigmar is getting there, though. You gotta remember, guys, Age of Sigmar is a brand new game by Games Workshop. It doesn't have the 30 years of support that Fantasy had. So give Age of Sigmar a few more years, and it's quickly getting there. Oh, there we go. David Garg got the name right. Awesome. Geoff Hurst 13. Hey man, I played a game with you last September. Salamanders versus Death Guard. Just wanted to say I had a great time and you're doing a solid job. Love the Apothis campaign. Thanks. I do remember that game. Salamanders. Wait, do I remember? Did I lose that game? I think I often lose when I play Death Guard. Yes, I'm going to say I lost. Thank you for the praise. And glad you enjoyed the campaign. I'm sad Theo died. I'm sad that Theo died. And again, I'm sad that Theo died. So my only regrets with the campaign is that Theo didn't make it to the end. Death Mobile. What is your favorite Chaos God? Nurgle. As he's probably one of the... I don't know who's more popular, Khorne or Nurgle. I've always known that Tzeentch and Slaanesh have been underneath them in popularity. I do love Nurgle, though. I just love the idea of Nurgle. Boom, 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 boom. Next question. There's a ton of questions, so I'm trying to kind of quickly answer them. Then again, I might end up rambling. Victor Werner, do you use Gauss or Tesla for your Necrons? I'd prefer to use Tesla, just as it's 24-inch range, 2 shots always, assault as well, so you can, well, I mean, the new Satek coming up are all assault anyways when you advance. Anyways, I feel I agree with the whole master when Tesla is better, especially if you're going to play one of the new, well, with all the leaked information, I'm sure most people have seen it. There's that one dynasty trait where you can, if you're within half range, you get -1 AP on your weapon. So Tesla with -1 AP is pretty great. But being in half range, Gauss would be better at that point anyways. It just gives it that extra option. The Eightfold Path. Oh, sorry, I skipped one. Finlay Agnew. Who's your favorite Warhammer Age of Sigmar character? Oh boy, I'm just a big Nagash fan. Just like throw me on that Nagash bandwagon. Just like sacrifice your soul for Nagash. Yeah, sure, why not? He's such a cool character. He's super old, super powerful, classic villain, always defeated, always comes back. I love him. I love him. He's awesome. The Eightfold Path. On the topic of new codexes, I predict that the next one will be Orcs. Then the Deathwatch Codex comes out to purge the Xenos filth. Now, okay, that would be kind of cool. I never thought about that. They release, let's just say they just get all of the Xenos Codexes out of the way, and then they're like, and here's Deathwatch to make you all suffer. That'd be kind of funny. Especially if they gave Deathwatch some cool rules. Isn't that right, Josh? Wouldn't you love to see Deathwatch get cool rules? I'm sure he would love to see that. Yeah. Owen Yates. Do you think Nighthaunt is a tournament level force? I am by no means a good Age of Sigmar player. Do I think Nighthaunt is fun to play? Yes. I just love it when your opponent deploys an army and then your entire army of ghosts just show up all around them. That's kind of cool. I haven't played Nighthaunt for a bit, especially with the new Legions of Nagash release. Them not being in there kind of sucks. I might play Nighthaunt just to play with a couple of Mournghouls again. I do miss using Mournghouls. And we got 2 Mournghouls. What do we got next? Cameron Lyell. What do you think of the new Dynasty Code rules? I am in love with all of them. I am so happy that, okay, granted, -1 to hit over 12 inches is of course powerful, and the stratagem that usually goes with them, the getting to deploy a unit before the first turn begins, but after determining who goes first, the Alpha Legion kind of infiltrate thing. Very powerful, very powerful. But I'm happy the Necrons didn't get the -1 to hit over 12 or the generic 6 up to ignore damage. I find those really boring. I love all of them. I think they're all really cool and unique in every single way. The Sotek, I'll be using the Sotek one mostly, especially for the Apophis Crusade narrative games, because that is that is the dynasty that I mostly play. That is what my army is painted up as. So that one is when you advance, the moment you advance, all your weapons turn to the assault variant of their weapon, and they get to ignore moving and firing heavy weapons. So that's just really good. That your entire army is very mobile and can shoot no matter if they move or not, or no matter if they advance or not. I like all of them. They all have their uses too. In each, no matter how you build your army, you can build your army to any one of those dynasties, and you can succeed very well. You build an entire Canoptic list that plays Novak, or you build, is it Mefrit that has the solar rule where it's the -1 AP? You could use the one stratagem that lets your Monolith or Night Scythe pop out 2 units from its Portal of Exile, or I think it's Portal of Exile. Essentially, instead of deploying 1 unit, you get to deploy 2 units from your Tomb World. So you could have both of those go up. The Monolith or the Night Scythe pops out like 2 units of Warriors, and the other one just pops out 1. And then they're all in half range, rapid firing, -AP2 Gauss players. It's really good. I'm slowly making my way down this list, guys. I'm falling behind. I'm sorry. Beast of Fury, Luka, Mr. BDB. How many kitty shirts do you own? They kind of go in and out. I actually wear them. This one is soon to go next. This is, I don't know if you guys can actually see it. It's the King Ghidorah kitty shirt. It's getting worn out, so it's gonna be next to go, I think. And as they go, I tend to get new ones. I go shopping, I find one, or I see one online, I like to kind of pick that up. I think I own about 14, 15. But again, a lot of those have been kind of just put on the shelf just to be only worn at home because they're thin or they're whatever, they got holes and stuff like that, right? I don't bring them to work. Jacob Kuistra. Of course, when you create a narrative event and call it a crusade, the Imperium outnumbers all other forces. That's fair. That is fair. That is for the Ossinia Prime campaign. Lavarius. Luka, I like how that the mic slightly rolled off screen. Not sure if you went over this yet, but which Necron Legion trait from the rumors do you think is the best? Also, I love to talk you with my... Oh, Love to take you on with my Blood Angels. I have not actually played against the new Blood Angels. Not at all. I haven't played against them, so I'm actually a little afraid of Blood Angels because I hear they're quite powerful. So I'm going to get someone coming in playing Blood Angels, and he's just going to turn one charge me with his Death Company, and hopefully I'll be prepared. And I probably won't be. Which Necron Legion trait do I think is the most powerful, though? Oh, boy. I'm going to go with Sautek. They're all differently powerful for certain skews of lists, but I think overall the Sautek one might be the most powerful. The ability to always advance and shoot your weapons is something your opponents might not expect. Necron army that is quite fast in the end. Of course, you're going to play an entire Canoptic list that's all melee. You're not going to want to use that trait at all. You're going to want to use the Novak one where you get to reroll all your charge hits when you charge in close combat or when you're charged or perform a heroic intervention. Then again, the Mephrit one is really good, the -1 AP at close range. If you play a close range or a very alpha striky Necron list, that's perfect for you because you don't need to advance. You've already alpha striked with your mono list. You're already in half range. They all play very differently. Shadow Age Gaming, do you think the Grey Knights will get some Primaris Marines? I'd like to imagine so, but then again, maybe not, because I don't really know much about the Grey Knights. Can a Grey Knight be turned into a Primaris Marine? Sure. Maybe. I mean, you can always ally them in by playing Imperium, right? But I'd like to imagine the Grey Knights getting cool Grey Knight specific Primaris Marines. Anything that's cool, I'd like to see. I'm sure the Grey Knight players would love to see that too. All right, I'm scrolling down this list. Velcro Dude, did you enjoy the Deathwatch campaign? Would your kill team play again? Who was the best character in your opinion? I enjoyed the Deathwatch campaign, of course. Matthew always has great campaigns to play in. His favorite thing is to surprise the players, so you don't know what you're walking into, especially with random little objects he puts on the map that you have to destroy, and you don't know what their toughness is or their save. That's the best part. Would I play my team again? Of course. I would be missing Theo, though, so I'd have to have another Vanguard to replace him. And the best character turned out to be, well, it's a toss-up, right? You had, Corellius, there we go. The Apothecary carried the entire team on his shoulder as they were running around destroying everything. He didn't really kill a whole lot, but he made sure they stuck around to kill stuff, because without him, I would have rolled a lot more character deaths, and I would have had nearly as powerful characters. Olaf might have died. Olaf turned out to be the most powerful at the end. If you've watched the entire campaign, spoiler alert, close your ears, everyone. He killed the Stompa in pretty much one turn by shooting at it with his Cyclone missile launchers and then hitting it with his Heavy Thunder Hammer. That was ludicrous. This is ludicrous. Jacob McCluskey. I like the rumors about a codex for recruit mercenaries. I hope it's inclusive of the other auxiliaries that the Tau can field. Now, I heard this rumor as well, and this is from a friend. Not like a friend in like Games Workshop, just like a random friend I play 40K with. He's always on every website about 40K rumors and trying to dig deep. He's getting hard into 8th edition 40K, and he's heard about recruit mercenaries. And I kind of laughed. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. You never know. You just don't know, right? What do you do when one day someone throws down a crude army across the table from you? I mean, again, like I said, I like cool stuff, so why not? Azriel Great Dragon. Hey, Luka, I love your kitty dice. And also, it was great to see you use Nagash. I play Sylvaneth. What do you think about the new CLs? Okay. I also love my kitty dice. They roll hot. I can rely on them. Not like the crappy white MiniWarGaming dice that don't roll hot and that I can't rely on. It feels great to use Nagash, except when he dies to, oh man, I can't remember his name. The big orc named guy for destruction. I'm trying to blank. I'll probably be using Nagash again in the future. I'll probably be using his battalion properly. I get a little arrogant when he's on the table. He's like, he's Nagash, he's unstoppable. 2-up save can't be, rerolling ones. No, he failed all his saves, and he took a lot of damage. So, guys, don't get arrogant. Know that you can fail saves. Don't be reckless. That's my little tip for you. What do I think about the new CLs being teased? Oh, I know Steve's in love. Steve wants to jump hard at those CLs, man. He's hoping they're beautiful, and Well, what I would assume is like it's the same story with the Daughters of Cain, whereas like the souls are being brought back for like Slaanesh. The souls are escaping from Slaanesh, the elven souls that is, and they've gone back to the Daughters of Cain in the form of the Medusa-looking. I can't remember their names. The Medusa-looking elves, and I assume it's the same for the High Elves in the way of these souls going back, and they're coming back as sea elves or sea creature elves. Essentially, Steve just wants a big turtle. Pachi, Primaris Marines are heresy. How can you perfect the Emperor's gene seed? That's also a good point. I was thinking that pretty sure the Grey Knights are based off the Emperor's gene. Yeah, as far as I know. Victor Werner, what's your favorite character fluff-wise? I'd probably go back to fantasy. Again, I'm just trying to think. Imhotep's kind of cool. Nagash, so I'd probably go, like I'm a big fan of the fantasy story, the old world story, and Nagash is such a cool character. He's just been around forever. And now he's an Age of Sigmar. Kim, 1977 Abel. Hi from Denmark. Hi from Canada. Well, in Ontario specifically. Where are you from in Denmark? I wonder. Christopher Kami? Hey Luka, paying some 1,000 suns while enjoying the stream. Awesome. Quick question. Did Magnus do anything wrong? No. No, actually. I had just read... Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Or I suppose I listened to the audiobook for... Oh, guys. Horus Rises. The second one is... Galaxy Burns is the third one. False Gods is the second one. I just listened to False Gods and Galaxy Burns, and it was pretty sad. Magnus is just such a poor guy. No, I don't think he did anything wrong. Drewski, 40K. This has got to be Drewski. Luka. With love from the bunker. Love Drewski and Vito. Hope you guys are having fun over there. Hope you guys are doing some good work. You guys have been doing good work. And much love from MiniWarGaming. The MiniWarGaming building. Revi-san, what do you think of Death Guard? What do I think of Death Guard 30K, or what do I think of Death Guard 40K? Well, I guess I can give quick, brief answers. I am currently listening to Flight of the Eisenstein for the Horus Heresy novels. This is the 4th book. It's about the Death Guard. So far, they're pretty cool. I just got to the part where they landed in that cylindrical kind of bioship, where it's essentially like it's a ship, but an ecosystem, so it's a planet that these weird bug things live on. I just finished that part, and there's a part where Mortarians on the beach. Their ships crash. Their little boarding ships crash into the ship. They actually board into a lake though, so that was kind of funny. It was 1 in 100 chance we land in the lake, and here we are in this nasty, weird lake thing. And then Mortarian's on the shore. He lifts up silence. He points it to the enemy, and that is just so cool. I like Mortarian. That's why I really like the Death Guard in 30K. Now for 40K, I like Nurgle, and I wanted a traitor faction, and I've always liked Death Guard. And the fact that obviously Mortarian's release, me being a big fan of Mortarian, so I just automatically went right to the Death Guard. And I think they have a cool story. Simple as that. Oh, I'm actually getting the... Oh, hey, look, I'm not catching up at all. Favorite 30K army? Death Guard. Easy. That is from Kim, 1977 Abel. Jacob McCluskey. As a Space Wolf, I say Magnus is a heretic. Prospero will burn eternal. Well, that's fair. I mean, that's what you were told by Horus, right? That Magnus is a traitor, and that he should die. Fear School. Do the live sit and talk Saturday so I can watch. Sad face. No one's here on Saturday, man. I don't know what to tell you. Vincent Losavio? I Love Blood. Yes, so I was right. Or, yeah, that was for the... Oh, that's going way back. I'm falling behind. Ooh. 4 sit and talks with people asking about fantasy by Beast of Fury. John Wisio, oh, okay. Skaven Space Rat Army. Wasn't there something about Space Rats a long time ago when I was like 2 years old? I could be wrong. There was a period of time where you could play the fantasy and Ages 40K armies. They had very similar rules, so you could actually just play games with them against each other, if I recall. Pachi, you are one of those who do not believe Age of Sigmar will grow so big. Fantasy was very fun. You know what? I'm on the same boat with you. I didn't think Age of Sigmar was going to go anywhere. All my friends are fans of it now. They also love fantasy. You know what? I don't think there's nothing wrong with liking both games. They're just different games. There's nothing that says you can't go back and play 8th edition fantasy with your friends every now and then. don't rebase your fantasy armies. Just make Games Workshop happy. Buy brand new Age of Sigmar armies. Yeah, just do that. Then you're bored and say you're bored. You haven't played fantasy for like 3 months. Throw down a game of 8th edition fantasy. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Vincent Lasavio, fantasy is my favorite show. So sad. It was one of my favorite shows to make too. Sean Carter, which Praetor do you like? Sheoldred or Elish Norn? Sheoldred for sure. Sheoldred, for fluff wise, it didn't matter so much for me. I thought they were all really cool. They were all doing their own thing. But for card rule wise, Sheoldred would bring something back from my graveyard every turn at the beginning of your upkeep, and your opponent's upkeep, they had to sacrifice a creature. Very good counter to any Voltron-like deck. True Mentality. I bet you can't wait for another Chug-a-Mug. Well, the next Chug-a-Mug coming out should have something nice in the cups. Maybe chocolate milk. Or something like that. No, I don't have chocolate milk in it, Rob. I love chocolate milk. It better have chocolate milk in it. As long as it doesn't have fish sauce. Guys, I will say to you right now, if you're bored today, go to your nearest grocery store and buy fish sauce and drink a cup of it. It's great. Just do it. Yeah, Rob's lying. Oh, we got a super chat by Alan Cotton. Sorry, I just kind of scrolled down and get into it now. I need to know, do you dip? I always see what looks like a dip in your lip, and it's been bothering me for like 7 months now. Do you dip? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean, do I dip? I don't dip. I don't think I dip. Do I have a dip in my lip? If I have a dip in my lip, please leave a comment saying that I do or do not have a dip in my lip. I'm just going to scroll down a lot. I'm going to skip a lot of questions. If I skip your question, you know, there's always super chat, and I'll read those right away. So again, thank you from Alan for the super chat. And I'm just going to try and keep up with the chat here because I'm falling way behind. Bam, top of the list. Charles Fox, why couldn't Festus kill Kento like episode 2 instead of waiting till the end? Well, I don't know. I was just trying to not be a jerk like Quirk, and I just couldn't hold it in anymore. The end, I had to kill Quirk. He had to die. Kento Samuelson had to die. Jordan Green, are the Sylvaneth a good starting army for going to Age of Sigmar? Actually, they might be. I know you can get a pretty quick 2,000 point list, which is 3 tree dudes, and you fill out with some dryads and some characters. And then from there, you kind of branch out to whatever you want. I would dare say, oh, you have to buy the Sylvaneth Wild. Well, you don't have to buy the Sylvaneth Wildwood, but it's always good to have the Sylvaneth Wildwood. Next question. John Smith. Hey, Luka. I know you guys plan on getting rid of Old World Wars, and it's been my favorite series. Now that Old World Wars is ending, what are you planning to do with the spare time? So that will be Age of Sigmar narrative campaigns that Matthew will be running. So look forward to that. Guys, if you aren't familiar with Age of Sigmar, or you're kind of sour about Age of Sigmar still, give Matthew's Age of Sigmar narrative campaigns a try when they come out, which will be coming out shortly after my Hornheim and End Time Story narrative campaign for fantasy. And we will have some fantasy in the future. I don't know when, but it won't be just a weekly show anymore. Alan Cotton. Oh, he's getting close to my question. Yes, you're right. I did. I answered your question. Please, I don't know what you meant by the dip thing.
It's tobacco.
Oh, okay.
Like chewing tobacco.
I don't chew tobacco, no. I don't. No, sorry. A dip in my lip for chewing tobacco, eh? I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, man, how am I falling behind? Here we go. Hey, looking for a random question at this point, pretty much trying to keep up. You guys are typing faster than I can answer questions. Maybe I should just yes, no. Do you think tabletop is more or less pay to win? Ooh, that's from Douche Jail. Like tabletop 40K games. If you go to a tournament, for the most part, sure, I'll say yeah, it could be pay to win, just because you're able to always follow the meta, and obviously 40K is an expensive game. Urbraska's love, Urbraska's life. Urbrask is one of the Praetors from New Phyrexia. Timothy Bradshaw, you guys going to play more Mordheim anytime soon? I don't know. I can tell you one thing, when Games Workshop eventually re-releases their specialty game, Mordheim, that's when we will for sure play Mordheim. Wargamer Eric, I'm just waiting to answer Alan's question. He hasn't spit anything out yet, so I assume the answer will be no. Yes. Nor do I see the Telltale Bottle of Darkness or empty Tim's cups for spitting in. No, I don't. I don't dip. Here it comes. Here we go. Everyone's so excited for the dip question. All right. Nasty. Can you guys pull some strings to bring Brett's back for Age of Sigmar? I'm begging. At 1:36 a.m. in Australia, I am begging to see Bretonnians in Age of Sigmar. Now, who knows? They might do something like Bretonnia in the future. I have no idea, but it's a hard IP to trademark, right? It's just they're French knights, so it's the same thing with the Tomb Kings. They're just Egyptian warriors, or very Egyptian-themed warriors. It's hard to bring them back. I think we were talking in the office about a weird mutated Bretonnian where they're all turned into centaurs. So you have an entire faction of centaurs that are all very knightly and very honorable, but they're all just centaurs. That'd be kind of cool. Very heavily armored centaurs. I got a dip apparently by Pachi. All right, here's another super question by Alan Cotton. So you know what? Rob informed me that dip is tobacco. I'm scrolling down again. I'm trying to catch up. Apparently, dip is tobacco. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, like you chew like the old Western movies, right? Where they're spitting into what are those little things you spit into called? Spittoon? Are they spittoons?
I think so.
Spittoon. All right. Yeah, I don't own a spittoon. I don't own chewing tobacco. Apparently, if I have a dip in my lip, it's just natural. I've had it since I was born, probably, or maybe some sort of weird mutation. But thank you again for the extra $2 to kind of pay attention to that question. Kylo22, when you buy a unit in 40k, how do you tell which weapon or extension is which? I'm a newcomer. I'm sorry, Kylo22. That will just come with experience and asking friends and anyone at your local gaming store. But I guess the best thing you could do is Google image. If you're building something, usually the instructions will have it'll say what it is, but you could just Google image like blight launcher, boom, 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 bam. It'll tell you what a blight launcher looks like. Oh, geez, you were just spamming me here, guys. You guys are the worst. No, I'm just kidding. You're the worst. You're the best. All right, I'm just gonna find a random question that I can. Spittoons. There we go. Yes. So Rob was right. Ricardo Granados. I want more Death Guard battle reports. Me too. So the one awkward thing about the Apotheos Crusade we're doing is I'm like playing the Necrons, right? So I'm playing my Sawtech Necrons, and I can't really play Death Guard since the Death Guard aren't really there. So that's why you haven't been seeing me play Death Guard too much. And I'm trying to paint up my Death Guard to play them on the channel. And I'm painting them up the old 30k scheme. So I'll get there one day, I swear. Like I'm getting a Spartan for them, though. I want a Spartan for what I plan on. Like, I built them in a certain way that I plan on using them, but I need a Spartan for them. Because Chaos don't have access to a Land Raider Crusader Games Workshop. That'd be awesome if we could, though. All right, J.R. Malam, with your love of fantasy, have you had a chance to try Total War Warhammer? Of course. I've actually, I'm a huge fan of I've been playing Total War since Shogun came out was that like 2000, 2001? I've been playing Total War since then, and the whole entire time I'm like, I don't know why they don't just make like a Lord of the Rings or like a fantasy like kind of thing with like orcs and goblins and zombies and magic. This would be it would translate perfectly over. And then there was like a Lord of the Rings mod for the Medieval 2 Total War game that was kind of cool. But yes, I'm a huge fan of Total War, and what I've said to my friends is fantasy might be dead for the tabletop game from Games Workshop, but it lives on in video games in Vermintide, Vermintide 2, Blood Bowl, and now Total War Warhammer 1 and 2, and Total War Warhammer 3 coming out sometime in the future. Luca's Gifts of Chaos, Natural Dip Lip. Thank you, Alan. Nasty. No, Centaurs, bro. Pure Knights and shiny armor, man. Green Knight, everything. I wanted to see when I was 8. I know a Games Workshop store owner who has a whole army he can't sell to me. I know. I doubt. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't think you'll be seeing Bretonnians. There's rules to play them in Age of Sigmar, but I don't know if they'll ever be updated. But I could be 100% wrong as well, so don't take me on that. Jacob McCluskey, have I read the Blood Gorgon story, and if so, how did you feel about it? I enjoyed the side arc, including Nurgle and the Death Guard. I haven't read the Blood Gorgon story yet. I have just recently discovered reading or listening to audiobooks on my commute to and from work. Hive Mind Craig, hey Luca, your performance in Blue Collar Heresy was amazing and inspired me to GM my own campaign set in a post-apocalyptic mood world. Do you have a quest, story ideas? I'd love to hear. In a post-apocalyptic world, any story arcs? I like the idea of, like, I'm using it in my Hornheim thing as like a small village of just like nobody's kind of ascending to somebody's is the quickest way I can give it to you. Nurgle gave me my natural dip lip. I'm going to Google what a dip lip is to figure out if I actually have one or not. I guess I do. John Smith, I don't see any appeal in Age of Sigmar, sadly. The gameplay just doesn't interest me. The models are really cool, though. So the models are really beautiful. I agree. Age of Sigmar and 40k are very similar right now. Age of Sigmar just got the fantasy-esque to it in slightly different phases. If you're not into it, you're not into it. You might be one. You know what? You never know. They're going to maybe release something one day that'll pull you in and you won't expect it. I was like, Age of Sigmar was always, it was all right for the longest time. And I'm like, yeah, I'll play it, whatever. If you want to play it, I'll play it. My friend wants to play it, yeah, I'll play Age of Sigmar, whatever. Wasn't super drawn into it. Then Legions of Nagash came out, and I'm like, finally, some death rules. I don't care if they're super not good. I don't care if they're top tier. I just wanted death rules, and I wanted cool death rules. I got that in the Locust of Shayush. That's all I wanted was cool magic. Talamir Centaurs were in the original Warhammer Fantasy. They were called Zoats, I believe. Zoats. Sorry, Zoats. Weren't they in 40k too? Zoats? 40k, Zoats and 40k. Again, guys, when I was really young when I was playing 40k, and I kind of dropped out of it for a while and came back in 6th and 7th edition. JF. Hey, Luka, have you had a look at the Necron beta? Any thoughts? Some really good stuff in there. Had a game last night and beat Eldar. Though I haven't actually played any games with the Necron beta rules. I am loving everything, especially the stratagems. I feel like 90% of those stratagems are all super unique. There's obviously a couple of the generic ones, like the Novak, 3 command points fight again at the end of the fight phase. Whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to complain about having that. I am a huge fan of all the stratagems and the huge buff to destroyers. Their weapon being strength 6, 3 shots now instead of strength 5, 2 shots. And the one stratagem to make them always hit reroll hits and wounds in the shooting phase. Ludicrous. That's going to be powerful, guys. Unless you see... Alan Cotton has another super chat question. Let's see what this one is. I have another question. I've asked Matt this as well. Do you know the difference between a magazine and a clip for a firearm? Just testing your knowledge. As far as I know, so I have a friend in the military asked this question too. Magazine is something you put the clip into and you load the magazine into the gun, as far as I know. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's either that or it's the other way around. I can't really remember the terminology all that well. Total War Shogun 2 was fantastic. Jacob McCluskey. Yes! Total War Shogun 2 was amazing. I also love Fall of the Samurai 2 with it was like the sad realization of a culture destroyed by the dirty Western cultures. The Fall of the Samurai to gunpowder. There was nothing sadder than watching a samurai who trained his entire life in honorable combat get shot down by a peasant with a gun. That is depressing, to say the least. Same thing with the Europe and the rise of gunpowder in Europe. A knight training his entire life just to get shot down by a random guy with a gun. Keith, Gustav. Oh, that's not towards me. Here we go. Am I right? Correct. Thank you. Yes, with the clip and magazine thing. Okay. Cosking555. Again, guys, if I've skipped your question, just retype it or copy paste it. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep to the bottom of the list. You have the power to create a new race for 40k. What would it do? Oh, what would the new race do? Ooh, something unique. Quick, Games Workshop, if you're listening, something unique for 40k. Something that doesn't just move and shoot. Something that entire race of psychers. You got an idea? They just teleport all over the place? The new Necrons do that now.
All over the place?
Yeah, the new Necrons teleport all. There's a dynasty for the Necrons. When you go to advance, you just automatically go maximum distance and you teleport. You have the fight. Ooh, move your enemies around. There you go. Bam. A new race that can control the minds of your enemies en masse. There we go. I like that one. Do I think Nagash dips? No, he doesn't. Yeah, Total War Warhammer 2 has me wanting to start dinosaurs. Justin Perot. For Age of Sigmar? Yeah, you could. One cool thing for Age of Sigmar is you could just play an entire dinosaur army. John Smith. I think I might just be ignorant. Oh, I moved up. About the depth of the strategy in it, or maybe just the depth I like. Oh, for Age of Sigmar. So, you know what? The more I play against the content producers, the more I realize the strategy in it, the more I realize, oh, crap, I made a mistake. I can't believe I didn't see that, or I forgot about that. I'm not saying there's a huge depth of strategy. Nothing like fantasy. Fantasy was, you won the game in the movement phase. If you messed up in the movement phase, you were done. That was it. And then the magic phase kind of came in with the big nuke spells, which kind of would, like, compensated for that. You could just nuke your opponent if you made a bad move in the movement phase, which kind of sucks. I miss the old Magic of 6th. We went back and played 6th edition. I think 6th edition had a pretty good way of Magic where it was more of a tool, not a weapon to win the game. I'm falling behind again. There was a relic blade lost during the Fall of the Samurai DLC. Grimjaw 1. What Chug-a-Mug item did I like the least? Well, that would easily be the fish sauce. I drank that first. It sat heavy in the bottom of my stomach, and then I threw on the Malta, which was equally or almost as disgusting, damn near as disgusting. You had the Vegemite, which was just weird, like eggnog stuff. It was some sort of dairy, but it wasn't milk. I don't know why I go to eggnog. And then it was the Clamato. It was honestly, Clamato is super normal, right? Like, you don't think much about Clamato. But that on top of the fish sauce, on top of the other stuff, the Malta, it was just too much for it just refused to go down. Luka, what are the must-have units for someone starting a Necron army? I'm going to say destroyers. Get yourself 6 to 12 destroyers, 6 wraiths, Necron warriors, Cryptex, and Catacomb Command Barge, probably. If you can't get any of that, an Overlord is fine. Right off the top of my head, all that stuff is great. If you love the idea of having a 3-up invulnerable save, Razor go-to. Lichguard can have a 3-up invulnerable save now with Stratagem, which costs 1 command point, or maybe it's 2. It's one of the 2. I think, hopefully it's 1 if I recall. Cosmic Poet, Luka, are you a secret clone? You're too nice. I get that a lot. I'm just such a great guy. I'm super nice all the time. Never get mad. Super jovial. I don't know. Was I angry in high school? Not really. I was always pretty nice. I don't know. At some point in my life, the anger left my body. Do I get angry? Oh yeah, I can get angry. I stub my toe. It's like a flash of anger. It's there and it's gone. I stepped on a piece of glass the other day and I punched the bed. And my girlfriend was like, "Oh, I've never seen you get mad like that before." I'm like, "I know, it was really painful." And that's my story. That was a moment with Luka. Ricker, ooh, Cosmic oh, I already got that one. John J. Luka, what is your approach to learning a new army? Do you approach from the fluff or the mechanics? I always go mechanics first. You know what? Learning a new army, that's a good question. Fluff first or mechanics first? I always go mechanics first because I have a general idea of the fluff of all the armies in 40k already. I don't know the nitty-gritty, but I already know most of what everything is. So from my perspective, it's always mechanics. But I guess if you're new to the game, it might be fluff, the story. Oh, got another super chat. Tell Quirk, this is also from Alan Cotton, so he's given $12 so far, so thank you, Alan Cotton. Tell Quirk that we need another open vault, and if he doesn't, I'm going to donate for Steve to make a chug-a-mug for him. That's 100% all failure, without Quirk knowing. But Quirk might be watching this, though, so he might know that. But I will try and go ahead and tell Quirk right now that he needs to make another open vault. Open vaults are pretty fun. Pachi, do I think the Emperor will resurrect or will Gilliman fully take over? I like the idea of the Star Child theory where if the Emperor is to die, since he is already the spirit of a lot of men who kind of, you know, the story of the Emperor was he was a bunch of druids and shamans, old magicians from ancient Terra who kind of ritually sacrificed themselves and somehow resurrected all their spirits into one mighty being. So I like the idea of a Star Child theory if the Emperor is killed and no one knows this, that his spirit could just resurrect himself again, and then the Imperium would have the Emperor back. Gustav Axelson, are you guys planning, depending on how it turns out, to cover the new Warhammer Warhammer Fantasy RPG by Cubicle coming out this year? Now, I don't know what we're planning, but yes, I would love to try out the 2 brand new role-playing games that are coming out for Age of Sigmar and the Old World Fantasy. I loved playing the old fantasy RPG back when I was a kid with my friends. And my own personal role-playing group, plan on doing both those RPGs coming up as well. Fraggle Josh. Hey, Luka. What do you think about the rumor that Leman Russ will return this year? I'd like to imagine that Leman Russ, and if we were to have 2 Primarchs, it'll be Lion or Leman Russ. Leman Russ makes makes more sense than Lion, just to me, because the Dark Angels are already out and the Space Wolves have yet to come out. So, I mean, this is my guess that you might see Leman Russ coming out with a Space Wolf release, like a big Space Wolf release. and the wolf will come back. And I'm like, I like to imagine he's gonna come back like old man Lehman Russ, like old man Logan comics, or like Odin kind of thing. Just you got your old guy with the big beard, super crazy good warrior, kills anything he touches. I'm looking at the chat a little bit, but sometimes I answer my questions and I don't know. I kind of I drag on a little bit. Wargame Eric, I'm not sure if that's better or worse. Alan Cotton, that sounds right. Josh, blah blah blah. Okay, there you go. Here we go. Card 4. Luka, what's the story about my dice symbol? So the story with my dice symbol is that I showed up one day with the Taco Cat shirt on. Matt thought it was ridiculous, and that should be my symbol for my dice. And Chris kind of quickly threw up a random rendition with a little Taco Cat with a bite out of the side of it, and that was it. Simple as that. Steve Campbell, $20. Thank you, Steve. I just finished watching the Death Watch narrative you were in, and it was fantastic. What was one of your favorite moments from it? Spoiler alert again, killing that's just like Matt's whole plan with that Stompa is like, oh, you can either kill the Stompa or you can capture Big Mech Skarbog. I don't know if you can do both. Whatever, I'll just go kill the Stompa in one hit and then go capture Big Mech Skarbog the next turn. That was my favorite moment. Thank you for the donation again, by the way. Steve Campbell. Jacob McCluskey, one of the first pages of Death Guard Codex is a mess of Tau being corrupted, so is it possible? Well, the Tau Codex is already out. Maybe a Dark Tau. Ooh, the Dark Tau, corrupted by Chaos Tau. Are Tau corruptible by Chaos? Luka doesn't know. I think I seen a question earlier where it was like, where the name Puka come from? So we were playing Mordheim, a Mordheim campaign a while ago, and I made my vampire. I called him Puka Lavichevich, and that is literally just the first character of my first name and last name swapped, and that's where Puka came from. What do we got here? Apocalypse 448. Am I excited for the Kill Team? I don't know. I never really played too much Kill Team in 7th edition. And like I said, the skirmish games for 40k, I've never, I never actually played too much of the 40k skirmish games other than Necromunda. But that one is very specific in like gang warfare. So that's what its draw for me is. It's just a bunch of really poo guys trying to take over. Like, you can imagine like a Necromunda ganger versus a Space Marine. There'd be no chance, right? So it's just a bunch of like low-scale combat in the 40k universe. That's what gets my attention. Pachi, I like the Star Child theory as well, or he does come back, as I hope. As a fan of 1,000 Suns, you can actually see Magnus was stuck in a rock in a hard place, and somehow he redeems Magnus from chaos. I don't know. Magnus has fallen pretty far into chaos, so I don't know. Ricardo Granados, why aren't we getting more 40k battle reports? Is this going to increase? Are we not still getting the same amount of 40k battle reports? I think we are. No, I don't think anything's really changed. Jordan Green, at Luka, what do you think Trazen the Infinite has planned for Creed? Other than hoping he doesn't tactically genius a Baneblade into his kitchen. I never know. Like, does anyone know what Trazen the Infinite's doing? All he does is just going around collecting artifacts. He just doesn't stop collecting. I have no idea what his plan is. No idea at all. I don't really know much about Trazen the Infinite other than the fact that he has a massive collection of artifacts and relics and monsters and you name it. Trazen's got it. Hashtag Theo the Dreadnought. Yeah, I can get behind that. Tower of the Chaos Puppets. All right, sure. Towcraft by Chaos. Farsight seems to be getting close. Yeah, okay. It's fair. You want me to wah? Wah! Question mark. Griff92100. Our MiniWarGaming thinking of doing any more Mordheim or Necromunda narratives like Gorka Morka? In the future, when Games Workshop eventually releases Mordheim, I dare say we'll do probably just a Mordheim campaign out of the book, or maybe a modified one, or maybe it's super great and we'll just do a custom one that we make. Frost001, greetings Luka. Greetings Frost from Canada. Tau don't register in the Warp Relay. The Farsight Enclaves, however, Commander Farsight wields the Dawnblade. A Chaos Relic that has expanded his life by a few hundred years. What is the average lifespan of a Tau member, of a Tau citizen? Answer in the comments. I'm curious. I'm sure you'll see this. I'll see that answer in like 10 seconds. Dragon Progressa? Luka, how does it feel to have played the most successful Deathwatch team? Some of those missions were really tough. Yeah, no kidding. Matt just kept throwing more and more at me. My guys, again, guys, you have to realize, my guys were the definition of luck. Matt couldn't wound them, and I couldn't fail a save. In fact, at the very end, I had 2 6-up saves for Khan to be taken out. Guess who made 2 6-up saves? Khan did. Ooh, 40 years. 30 to 50 years, 40 years for a Tau. So a little bit less, well, I mean, I guess a lot less than humans in the 40k universe. Games Work, please make Orc ally army. Huh. Based on the lore, I think the Emperor wants to die to be resurrected as a god. I'm waiting for the end game when the Nids and Slanesh attack the Golden Throne and Dante defends it. Alright. I don't know, I've always thought, like, the Emperor kind of obviously hated the idea of religion, right? It was science and nothing but science. Average lifespan of a Tau citizen around... How does everyone know it's 40 to 50 years? Is that in the Codex, or is that just people guessing? I'm sure it's in the Codex. If you all agree that it's 40 to 50 years, how do you know it's 40 to 50 years? What's a Tau? 40 years. If you are a pure tide, Farsight doesn't know what the Dawnblade does. All right, I finally caught up to all the questions. You can keep throwing questions at me now. I know we're at 11 o'clock, but Luka doesn't want to stop. I love answering questions.
Well, because we started later, we're ending at around 10 after 11.
Oh, beautiful. See, there you go, guys. We're going to end in about 10 minutes, so keep throwing questions at me. Decent, you will make Age of Sigmar campaign with vampires against Skaven called Puka's Revenge. Puka's Return with the favor of Nagash to destroy the rats. Okay. Sure. Puka the Vampire comes back from that old... like, Mordheim in itself is pretty old fantasy, because it's going back a few hundred years when Vlad was still alive. Or maybe... Actually, I don't know how long ago Vlad died in the current fantasy time. Anyways, so it's going way back. So it's just like this weird, obscure vampire from Mordheim who comes back to be a big hero in Age of Sigmar. It's in the Farsight books. Okay. Okay. Or I guess Google. I guess they could have just Googled... Yeah, I guess you could all have just Googled how long a Tau lives. The Tau make holograms and artificial intelligence to cheat life. Do Tau actually use artificial intelligence? That's risky. Do they actually use AI? 40 years. It was in some book about alien biology. It's common knowledge. Common knowledge Tau lived for 40 years. John J. Paint brand of choice. I've always used Citadel paint. I've never actually explored past Citadel paint. I know Chris would probably be better. Chris could go on for a while, but his favorite brand, like, they're all good for different reasons, right? What's best for an airbrush, what's best for hand painting, all that stuff. Depending on Tau, depends on how long you live. Oh man, you guys, I'm falling behind quickly again. When's the next Dark Heresy session start? I think 1-ish, like 12:31-ish. So don't quote me on that, but show up at 1. 1 Eastern Standard Time. If you had a voodoo doll Steve, would you sit on it and force him to paint your minis? Yes, 100%. Every time. And he would like it. As I say, blanking in the camera. What is my favorite 40k unit? Lichguard. Love Lichguard so much. I think they're super cool. That's my favorite 40k unit. Do you read rule errors, comments under battle reports and take them to heart? Yes, I do, Jerry's. If I don't always comment on them, but I do take them to note and I'll look them up. And, a lot of the time, you're right. I mean, I make a mistake and, people make mistakes in the game. My favorite thing is that there's thousands of people watching, so it's a good way to filter out errors. And I like to imagine a lot of the time it's like a forgetful error, like a harmless, like, oh, you're right, I can't believe I didn't do that kind of thing. There's so many things going on, you tend to forget. But no, I do read all error. I do read all of my videos comments, and I do read all the errors. I usually watch like the first 3 days of comments, and I'll kind of take note of those. Why is your beard so epic? It's just not shaved. That's about it. The Webster, is Techno Heresy a crime or just discouraged as the Adeptos Mechanicus will try and murder you? I think it's a good mixture of both discouraged and crime. I don't know, they're very greedy with their tech. That's not good. I mean, the Imperium have been stagnant for like 10,000 years. Sure, there's been some advances or releases of technology, like a lot more teleport, a lot more deep striking with Terminators because they didn't have those during the Heresy. But yes, they do. You guys need to do something so we know when you're coming online. Just kind of randomly, I see at Luka Kika, Tau use AI, Tau use so much AI, Tau use low-level AI for the drones. Like, is that like a virtual intelligence or an artificial intelligence? So there's a difference, right? Is it actually artificial intelligence? Or is it virtual intelligence? Sorry to re-ask. I just started playing again through Tabletop Simulator. Do many people know about this program? If so, how is it used? Yes. I use Tabletop Simulator all the time for 40K because my friends don't live... I live in Hamilton. Not all my friends live in Hamilton, so I use Tabletop Simulator. I feel like it's probably one of the best ways to play any of the Games Workshop games quickly on a table. It's a good way to test out models before you buy them as well. You might not actually like how the model plays. Kylie Reki, the Tau Riki. The Tau use low AI for drones, but look at their ability to copy memories to their leaders to new commanders. They have access to some weird tech that could use or be seen as artificial intelligence. If I wanted to get into Age of Sigmar, are there any armies I should stay away from? Ooh. If you're going to get into Age of Sigmar, I would highly suggest you get into any of the Battle Tome armies. So any of the Age of Sigmar established armies. Find the story and the lore you like for those armies and get into them. Don't do any of the legacy fantasy armies, as you never know where they're going to go. They might end up being splintered off into 2 different books. Any of the established books, get into those. They have awesome rules, especially like the Magikin or Legions of Nagash. I think they have awesome rules. And the Caradron Overlords. 5-minute warning, guys. Let me see if I can get through some of these. Kyle Riki again. Of those in the studio, who's your rival for gaming? Quirk. Quirk and I. Rival. Not really. I don't know. He's the first one that comes to mind, though. Maybe Josh, actually. It's, you know what? Not so much Quirk. It's Josh. For whatever reason, Josh can get to me. And it's not his personality. It's not his characteristics. It's his rolling. For whatever reason, when we're playing a game against each other, he dices me nearly every time, and it drives me insane. I'm sure you guys all have opponents like that too. Josh is my anathema. I think it's anathema. I think I'm using the word correctly there. He is my counter. Luka, don't stress out falling behind in the chat. There's only one of you and many of us. You're doing great. Thank you. There is a lot of chat. All right. If anyone else, Luka, of those in the studio, are you ever going to use your Khorne Marines again? Odie Owen. So those were a World Leader branch. I have them on the shelf. Do I plan on using them again? I think about it every now and then. But the problem is, I get to play Chaos so infrequently that I just want to play Death Guard. So by the time I get to play Chaos, I want to play Death Guard, and then I won't get to play Khorne again. If I remember, I'll try and use them again next time, though. I started playing again through Timber. Oh, hey. Do I play any other tabletop games other than Age of Sigmar and 40K? I do play Fantasy. I do play... I played more time Necromunda. I played pretty much like... I'm a Games Workshop fanboy, so I play a lot of Games Workshop games. I have ventured out into other games by other companies. I've played a little bit of King's War. I've obviously played Warhammer Hordes, but not a whole lot. I like Circle a lot. Circle's my favorite for Warhammer Hordes. Luka, are there any armies in 40K and or Age of Sigmar you don't like? Well, that I don't like playing against or playing as. There's a good number. I don't think I like... I've never enjoyed playing against Eldar. They always annoy me. I don't like playing against... Age of Sigmar. There's a great fear of playing against the Beastclaw Raiders. And it's just that 6 mortal wounds. You got to watch out for that, especially if there's 2 of them, or forbid 3 or 4. Can you imagine that? 4 guys throwing 6 mortal wounds at you on a 2-up every turn. It's terrible. Oh, I got another super question. Alan Cotton, last donation of the day. What is the one miniature game you want to play more than anything? Oh, geez. Like that I don't already play? More than anything? Oh, maybe... Oh, come on. I can think of something. I really like playing... You know what? I wouldn't mind going back and playing some of the older editions of the games I play. But one miniature game I want to play more than anything that I don't already play. Ooh. Star Wars Legion. Yeah. That looks kind of cool. I want to try that out. So obviously I'll be buying a box set with a friend. And we're just going to be playing that. That looks really fun. We have another one. Griff92100. Is that £5? Yeah, nice. £5. Thank you. Do you play Vermintide 2, Luka? Match should get everyone playing with Twitch integration. That's not a bad idea. I am buying Vermintide 2 shortly when my friends do. I haven't bought it yet. I played about 100 hours of Vermintide 1. About that, maybe 90, whatever, something like that. I enjoyed it, but all my, you play something so much you lose interest, your friends lose interest, you're not going to play it on your own. So that's what happened there. Vermintide 2, we're of course going to go into it. It looks very fun. Do I like Rick and Morty? Yes, I love Rick and Morty. I've seen them all. Multiple times, actually. And I actually got one of those, there's a Rick and Morty card game based on the one Parasite episode. I got that, too. You guys, well, I got to wrap it up. It's a wrap-up time. All right, I'll answer one more question, then I'll wrap it up. Oh, it's this super question by Sam Bontempo. 5 pounds, no question, just loving the live Sin Talk. Star Wars Legion looks awesome. All right, I agree. Star Wars Legion does look really cool. Luka, do you like Rick and Morty? One more question. If we do the Twitch integration, they will never finish a map. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Can you surprise Luke on screen before he sees this? No, he can't. Someone asked Josh who could surprise me on camera. Ooh, have you ever named model outside of narrative reasons, like enjoying a model with a quirky paint job? My first Qatari Ranger was painted to have brass parts and a dirty coat, called him Rusty. I've always called my one Overlord Akul. It's just my name, like kind of swapped up, so it's just like the last part and the first part. All right, guys. I think I gotta stop it there, though. That is the hour is up. I would love to keep answering questions. Actually, I feel like I could just do this all day. This is super fun. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the live sit and talk. Hopefully, I'm sorry if I missed your questions. There was a lot of them. It's kind of hard to keep up with them, and I like to kind of go into detail with some of the questions as well. So that kind of takes up a lot of the time. Time flies by doing this stuff, man. Josh will not ambush my screen. Anyways, guys, see you all later. Again, I'm pretty sure Chris is the next one up. Empire or Rebellion? Empire. No, Empire. Empire. Yeah, that is a Alan Cotton. There you go. You said you're done. You said you finished your last one already. Thank you for the $2 though. Yeah, I have to sign out there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Leave questions for Chris in the bottom, and happy wargaming.